You are arguing with a shadow. Every time you stare at the bank balance that won't move, the relationship that stays cold, the body that refuses to change, you're fighting the reflection in the glass and demanding the glass apologize. The conditions you call your life are echoes of a sound you made somewhere else, somewhere quieter. By the time we're done, you'll stop shouting at the mirror. Charles Haanel built an entire system around one stubborn claim. Thought is the only creative force there is. Everything you can touch, count, or worry about is secondary. It's the residue. The world you walk through each morning is the printed page, and somewhere upstream sits the press that set the type. You've been editing the page with a pen, scratching out words that were already dry. Sit with that for a second. Your circumstances are not the cause of how you feel. They're the receipt. Most people live their whole lives reading that receipt as if it were a verdict. The diagnosis arrives, the eviction notice lands, the lover walks out, and the mind says, "This is what's real. This is the hard fact I must now react to." So you brace, you strategize against the visible thing. And the visible thing grows roots, because attention is water, and you've been pouring it on the very weed you wanted gone. What if the fact you're treating as bedrock is actually the softest thing in the room? Haanel's answer is almost rude in its simplicity. The objective world conforms. It bends. It has no power to originate anything, because it's an effect, and an effect cannot author its own cause. The seen is the offspring of the unseen, and offspring inherit. They obey. Here's where it stops being comfortable philosophy and starts asking something of you. If thought is the cause, then the quality of your inner life is the quality of your future life. With a delay, that delay is the cruel part and the merciful part at once. Cruel, because today's misery was paid for weeks or months ago and there's no refund. Merciful, because the deposit you make right now hasn't matured yet and you can still change what you're depositing. So what have you been depositing? Be honest. Run the tape of your inner speech for a single afternoon. The muttered, "Of course this would happen to me." The rehearsed argument you have with someone who isn't there. The quiet certainty, worn smooth by repetition, that good things are for other people. That stream never stops, and Haanel says it's manufacturing. Each thought charged with feeling is a seed pressed into soil that doesn't judge what you plant. The soil just grows it. This is the law that doesn't take a day off. It's working perfectly even now, especially in the lives of people convinced it's nonsense. A man stands in a field that grew nothing but thistles. He curses the field, the weather, the seeds he was handed. Then he learns the soil accepted every thistle seed he absent-mindedly scattered while complaining about thistles. You are that man. So am I on my worst days. The horror and the freedom live in the same sentence. Whatever is happening to you, your sustained inner conviction first agreed to it. That word sustained is the whole game. A single hopeful thought stays inert, the way one warm afternoon leaves winter standing. Haanel was precise about this. The power lives in concentration, in the held idea, in the refusal to let the picture flicker every time the outer world raises an eyebrow. Most people plant a seed on Monday and dig it up on Tuesday to check if it's growing. Then Wednesday. Then they wonder why the harvest never comes. Can you hold a conviction longer than the world can contradict it? Because the world will contradict it. That's its job as a reflection, to show you faithfully what you held yesterday. This is the discipline almost nobody talks about when they sell you the dream. The mental diet? Haanel asks you to guard the inner room the way a careful person guards who enters their home, and that includes what you let play in the background while you sit. I leave a tune, it retunes any track to 432 Hz, link in the description. Running during those sessions, because the sound floor matters when you're trying to hold a single thought. Every fear you entertain, you've invited in for tea. Every resentment you replay, you've given a guest bedroom, and these guests rearrange the furniture of your future while you sleep. The work runs deeper than positive thinking pasted over a screaming basement. The work is going down to the basement. That descent is where transformation actually lives. Sitting in the dark with a conviction you'd rather not admit you hold, that you're too small, that it's too late, that people like you stay where they started. Until you find that root thought, you'll keep trimming leaves, and leaves grow back. Think of a single recurring complaint in your life, the one that's worn a groove. Now notice you've described it the same way for years, in nearly the same words. That description is the seed, replanted every time you repeat it. The condition keeps blooming because you keep watering the same patch. Pause there. Feel the weight of it, then feel the door it opens. Because if conditions are reflections, you are never actually stuck. Stuck is an illusion of the mirror. A reflection has no momentum of its own. It can't fight you. The moment the original changes, the reflection has to follow, with no vote and no delay beyond the natural ripening time. Haanel called the inner world the practical world, the place where men and women of power are made. The outer world is where the inner becomes visible. You stop fixing the visible by polishing it. You fix it by becoming on the inside the person whose natural reflection is the life you want. Now watch how this reframes everything you've been told about effort. You were taught to push against circumstances, grind, force, out-hustle the reflection. And there's a brutal waste in that, like a man trying to fix his frown by bending the mirror with his bare hands. The frown is his. The mirror is innocent. All that strain, all that white-knuckled trying, aimed at the one place that was only ever showing him himself. Haanel asks for the same effort, moved upstream. Spend your discipline where it compounds, on the held image, the assumed feeling, the refusal to be talked out of your conviction by an outer world that's only showing you old news. That's harder than hustling. Hustling lets you stay busy on the surface. This asks you to govern the one thing you'd rather leave wild, your own mind, and the mind resists being governed. It wants to wander back to the wound, to refresh the worry like a phone you can't put down. Discipline here means catching the drift and turning the ship gently, 100 times an hour, toward the end you've chosen. Once won't do it, 100 times. Then, 100 more tomorrow. Haanel compared the mind to a garden, and the gardener to your will. The gardener doesn't beg the soil, he chooses what stays and pulls what doesn't belong, daily, without drama. You hold that same authority over your inner ground. Every idea you let linger gets stronger by the simple fact of your attention. Every idea you starve of attention quietly loses its grip. The thoughts that run your life are the ones you fed longest. There's a quiet test for whether you've truly assumed something. You stop arguing for it. You stop needing the world to confirm it. A person who knows they're loved skips the morning audit of their partner's face for proof. They simply live from the fact of it. Haanel's whole system points at that interior steadiness, the conviction gone so deep it stays calm when appearances misbehave. From that place, you act differently. You speak differently. You let opportunities reach you because you've dropped the desperation that used to push them away. What would you attempt this week if you were quietly, unshakably certain it was already done in the only place where things begin? Sit inside that question instead of answering it fast. Most people manifest from lack, broadcasting the ache of not having, and the mirror dutifully reflects more of the same. The shift Haanel points to is subtle and total at once. You stop reaching for the thing. You assume the consciousness of already being the one who has it. The reaching itself confesses the absence, and the soil grows what you confess. This is why two people can take the same actions and harvest opposite lives. Same resume, same market, same starting capital. One operates from a settled inner certainty, and the world arranges itself to match. The other operates from a low, grinding doubt, and meets closed door after closed door. The visible facts were identical. The invisible posture was night and day. Conditions conform to conviction, exactly as the law promised. So let's return to the mirror you've been shouting at, the bank balance, the cold relationship, the body, the diagnosis, the door that stays shut. Each one is a faithful messenger delivering a letter you wrote and forgot. Be angry at the messenger if you like. The letters keep coming in the same handwriting until you sit down and write a different one. And you can write a different one tonight. By going quiet and holding, really holding, the conviction of the life you intend until it stops feeling like a wish and starts feeling like a memory of something that already happened. That's the labor. That's the entire labor. Everything visible waits downstream of it, ready to conform the instant you stop wavering. Haanel's promise was always that life is fair in a way most people find unbearable. It hands you, with perfect accuracy, the outer equivalent of your sustained inner state. There's your responsibility, heavy as a stone. And there's your freedom, the same stone, lifted. You came here looking at a world you thought was happening to you. Walk out knowing it's been answering you. This whole time, word for word. The mirror was never the problem. Go change the face in front of it.